Hi, church family. It's Pastor Nathan. Hope that you are doing well. Today we're going to be looking at Psalm 52. And if you want, later you can cross-reference by reading 1 Samuel chapter 21 and 22, which is where a lot of this story that David is reflecting on in the psalm takes place. Before verse 1, we're actually told the precise moment in history that this psalm is reflecting on. It says, "To the choir master, a maskil of David, when Doeg the Edomite came and told Saul, David has come to the house of Ahimelech." And this title connects for us this psalm to the story in 1 Samuel chapters 21 and 22 when David flees from Saul. And one of these priests, Ahimelech, has graciously showed David kindness by giving him a few provisions, some food, even Goliath's sword. The immature king Saul denounces this priest Ahimelech because he helped David. And Saul tasks Doeg, the snitch, the Edomite, to carry out the slaughter of the priests. His name would have been like that of Benedict Arnold for Americans, or even worse for the original audience. And it seems pretty clear that the you, based on this context in the first 5 verses, verses 1 through 5, is Doeg. He has betrayed and slayed God's messengers. And David is rightfully upset. The next few verses, verses 5 through 7, show us that evil deeds will ultimately result in God's judgment, and that the final stage for wicked is laughter. And we see this contrast most starkly between David and Doeg in verses 7 and 8. Doeg is described in verse 7, "See the man who would not make God his refuge, but trusted in the abundance of his riches, and sought refuge in his own destruction." And if you go back and read the story in 1 Samuel 22, verse 23, you find out that David ends up offering refuge to Abiathar, Ahimelech's son, when he says to him, "Stay with me. Don't be afraid. You'll be safe with me." And then beginning in verse 8, David pictures himself as a long-lasting tree whose certainty is not his own riches, but in God's steadfast love forever. That's how he can say in verse 9, "I will thank you forever because you have done it. I will wait for your name, for it is good in the presence of the godly." And so we wait. When we're faced with evil, whether it be embodied as a person like Doeg or in the form of even a deadly virus, because his name is good. Philippians 2, 9 through 11 says, "Therefore God has highly exalted him and bestowed on him the name that is above every name, so that at the name of Jesus every knee should bow in heaven and on earth and under the earth, and every tongue confess that Jesus Christ is Lord, to the glory of God the Father." Jesus says to David, and he says to you and to me, "Stay with me. Don't be afraid. You will be safe with me."